So, you're watching Sky News Breakfast. It's time now to take a look through the morning papers once again. Here with me this morning have been and still are, the former editor of the Daily Star, Dawn Neeson, and the journalist and author, Gemma Forte. So, welcome back to both of you. Now, round three, you've got plenty of good stories for us to talk about. Dawn, we're kicking off with you, and there's a double-page spread here that you found in The Guardian, really picking up on a story that has made headlines throughout the week and the focus on migrants and the government's response.
Oh, Anna, yes. Unfortunately, the story continues, and it's been getting worse. This is the horror story around Manton processing site down in Kent. This latest story, though, is about 18 asylum seekers who were at Manston have been moved out and were found sleeping rough on the streets of London in Westminster. To be precise, overnight. Now, we all know how cold it's getting. Last night in particular was very cold. And these people are from Ethiopia, Eritrea, Egypt, Kuwait. And they, so as look, the overcrowding at Manson is horrific. It was built to accommodate 1,800. There's now 4,000 people there, including women and children. Suella Braverman has gone in and said, right, we have to sort the overcrowding out, and the way that appears to be being done is putting some of these unfortunate souls on coaches and just dumping them in the centre of London with no accommodation or anything. Look, this is just a very, very divisive debate about £7 million, putting up in hotels, etc., etc. But at the end of the day, just dumping people on the streets in winter to sleep rough, surely there has to be a solution to this, rather than treating these people in this appalling way. And so this isn't the first time. 11 more were found sleeping rough again in Westminster overnight on Thursday night. Some of them have been moved on to a processing centre down in Croydon now and been told to apply for accommodation down there. Some have been moved to Norwich for some reason, and the Norwich councillors are going, well, we don't know who they are or where they're going. It's an utter mess. It can't be, Anna, beyond the brains of somebody somewhere to get a grip of this and sort this situation out, because it's incredibly divisive, incredibly upsetting that people sleeping rough. We've got enough problems with sleeping rough on the streets of London. You can't just dump people on the streets in winter. It's just an utter depressing mess.
And the government did talk about that being a mistake, that they said there was a communication problem, that they thought they had somewhere to go, but a lot of questions around that. But also, as you say, what happens next to these people where they do go, because there obviously is this problem at Manston. No doubt, plenty more headlines as the week goes on, I'm sure. Gemma, let's take a look at the Financial Times article that you've picked out. This is focusing on Channel 4 and what happens to the broadcaster next.
Yes, so Sunak basically shelving the plan that Nadine Dorries was so desperate to push through, which was to privatise Channel 4. So I'm absolutely delighted, because there was no sane reason to privatise a very, very successful broadcaster, because it's state-owned, but it's entirely funded by advertising. And actually, the way Channel 4 works is they hire lots and lots of independent British, usually, often, not always, often quite small production companies as well. So it's fantastic for British media, it's fantastic for employment here, and so it was really mystifying when Nadine Dorries made it her mission to privatise it, I think probably based on the fact that she didn't like some of the news coverage because it was critical of the government. And then further to that, she has been found very seriously to have misled Parliament. So the Cross-Party Culture Committee basically published a report concluding that she gave false information, it's just staggering, where she tried to say that this Channel 4 programme had used actors on a housing estate, and it's completely false. So I'm really glad that Rishi Sunak's just come in and gone, nah, shelve that.
And I think they're just celebrating their 40th birthday, I think, this week as well, aren't they? I think that's right. So talking of television, the next story is about that as well, isn't it? Dawn, inside the Mirror this time around. We've just been talking about it with Katie Spencer. I'm a Celebrity gets going. They've had so much publicity, haven't they? And largely because of this man. Matt Hancock.
Who would have thought putting someone like Matt Hancock in there would get the publicity? It's a cunning plan, £400,000 worth of cunning plan. It starts, as you've discussed on your brilliant Showbiz Roundup, it starts on Sunday. People will be watching it for Matt Hancock because, in a country that, I'm sure Gemma will agree, in a country that's so divided at the moment on literally every level, the one thing we can all unite on is the fact that none of us like Matt Hancock. For what he did during the pandemic, obviously, and then the whole mistress thing, and it's very much disgraced figure. But the story here has moved on in the Mirror because they're also saying that he skipped Tory Party conference to also go and film another reality TV show. What is this man on? And it's the Celebrity SAS show where they have to do all these challenges and sort of like prove how tough they are. And there's an anonymous quote in here saying he wants to be sort of everyone's favourite Boy Scout. Well, it's got a long way to go on that one. But I mean, he lied to the both reality shows by saying, no, I'm only doing one. And then he's got the Celebrity Jungle starting, as you said, on Sunday, and the SAS show, which I think Celebrity SAS comes out next week, and he's starring with Melinda Messenger, the former glamour girl, in that one as well. So it's just like, I just feel sorry, Anna, for his constituents. I mean, he's still on £84,000 a year as an MP, and B, some of the creepy crawlies in the jungle that got by with him for potentially 3 weeks.
Harsh. He will certainly be on our screens an awful lot over the next few weeks. Okay, let's move on, shall we, Gemma? This is on the front page of the Telegraph, this story, and it's something that a lot of people will be affected by. Rail strikes called off, so kind of progress of some sorts there. So what's the Telegraph's take on this?
Well, it's interesting because the Telegraph are almost talking as if it's a done deal, talking about Mr. Lynch claiming victory, etc., and saying that, the workers will be getting a pay rise, but certain practices, which they believe to be quite archaic, will linger on. But interesting, I mean, it hasn't happened yet. What has happened is they've agreed with RMT to enter intense negotiations. So progress is being made. That's fantastic. Mick Lynch has been an incredibly great vocal representative for the RMT, very strong strike action, and obviously for us, we'll be delighted as soon as it does get resolved. And it looks like the latest round have been cancelled, but I think still check your train journey because I think there'll still be disruptions specifically today. But hopefully they're getting there, and hopefully workers will get what they're after, in my personal view.
Okay, let's move on again, and this is is this the Eye? Yes, it is the Eye. Dawn, this is rather a sweet story, but I guess it's something that we need to be careful about. This is it's bonfire night tonight, of course, and some important advice for our prickly friends.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. A happy bonfire night, everyone. I hope everyone's living nice, but safe time tonight. This is, obviously we're all very aware now of looking after pets, cats and dogs, etc., when fireworks and things are going on. But this is one that we don't often think about, and it's hedgehogs. They like, at this time of year, to crawl into sort of like, dry, warm places. So if you're building bonfires, in your local fields or in your gardens, and you've got piles of wood ready to set fire to, before you do so, just make sure there aren't any hedgehogs hiding in there. And so, because obviously no one wants toasted hedgehog tonight, do they? But it's just check your bonfires before you set fire to them. But obviously the other side to this story, Anna, is a lot more people will be having private firework parties because many of the big organised displays have been cancelled for economic reasons or environmental reasons or a combination of both. So it does mean that more people will be having private parties, and you've been discussing at length on the show today with the safety aspects of that. So, check for those hedgehogs, but try and have a nice safe time as well. I know I'm going to.
Oh, yeah, and we've got a little hedgehog that visits us, so I feel particularly strongly about this. It's very sweet. Anyway, we're out of time. Gemma and Dawn, really lovely to have your company this morning. Thanks so much for taking us through the papers today. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just remind you of our breaking news in the last hour. Authorities are on the scene of a disturbance at an immigration centre in West London. A Home Office spokesperson has put out a statement and says there's been a power outage at Harmondsworth Immigration Removal Centre and work is currently underway to resolve this issue. We're aware of a disturbance at the centre and the appropriate authorities have been notified and are on the scene. They go on to say the welfare and safety of staff and individuals detained at Harmondsworth is our key priority. So we'll keep a very close eye on that developing story for you. And meanwhile, do join us at the top of the hour for all the latest news.